According to my next guest, what's not clear is who's behind these protests and which voices within the Tamil community are not being heard. Ignatius Selliah, who might be known to you by his pen name Mano Ramjan, is the former editor of a Tamil magazine in Sri Lanka. He is now a freelance writer based in Guelph. Joins me on the line now to share his concerns. Mr. Selliah, good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
You were on the Gardiner Expressway on Sunday during the protest that shut down the highway in both directions for more than 7 hours. What was that experience like for you?
I was shocked to see mainly small kids and children were brought into the highway in that almost till midnight by these protesters. But I first went to the Queen's Park where this fasting was going on. Then I walked from there to the Gardiner Highway and Spadina exit. Thousands of people were marching, and place to place there were youngsters who were waving the tiger flag, which is the proscribed organization in Canada, the Tamil Tigers. And they were shouting three main slogans like, number one, LTTE, freedom fighters. Prabhakaran, our leader. Canada, lift the ban. Then the last slogan comes as, no more genocide in Sri Lanka. So for me, it's very clear who is behind this protest. And the people who have been participating in that, who have experienced kind of very bad experience in Sri Lanka for about 20-15 years before facing racial violence, and they have sympathy towards their friends and relatives in Sri Lanka, what's going on. But the people who are behind this whole protest look like they were focusing to bail out an organization which has been causing so much violations of human rights of their own people, which is a proscribed organization in Canada.
This is interesting because when we speak to people who were participating in the protests, they would tell us that their real concern is their loved ones who have been caught in the crossfire of what the United Nations has called a bloodbath. They're concerned, in other words, with unaligned innocents who might be killed as a result of the violence going on. You're arguing that their cause and their concerns are being basically co-opted, taken advantage of by the people who are supporting the Tigers.
That's right, Andy. Now, I was in Sri Lanka just about a month ago, and I went to this particular city called Vavuniya, where these almost 100,000 IDPs have left the real war-torn area. I met these people and I spoke to them. Their version is, like the international community was telling, like Amnesty International, UN agencies are telling, the Tamil Tigers are holding the civilians by force without their will. On the other side, government has waged a war on the Tamil Tigers, where unfortunately nearly about 250,000 civilians were trapped in that area. So, in a way, on the people's side, just on the civilians, people are being crushed from the both sides. The people want to get out of the battlefront, and they are being prevented. And when the civilians were trying to escape, they have been shot from behind.
So just to make this clear, for Canadians who are being asked to get engaged in this issue, and I'd have to say the protesters have been certainly successful in getting the media's attention. This conversation is a perfect example. Is it possible for us to support their demands for a ceasefire on the grounds that innocent lives will be lost? Or if we support those demands, are we unwittingly again being co-opted into somehow aiding and abetting the activities of a terrorist organization, the Tigers?
That's the thing. For the Canadian government and the Canadian society, it's a very delicate problem because now in Canada, nearly about 250,000 to 300,000 Tamils are living. The people who have been brought into these protests are not even 10 to 15%. But when it comes to 10 to 15% out of 300,000, it's about nearly about 10 to 25,000 people. That's a big crowd. That is why they were able to capture the attention of the media. Even they were able to take the attention of the politicians by blocking the highway. The Canadians can do something like, if they want to demand the Sri Lankan government to come out with a ceasefire in order to allow the civilians to escape or civilians to move out from this area with the help of the international community, then the Canadian government and the Canadian society should demand the Tamil Tigers to release the civilians whom they are holding against their will. So the Canadian government can't take one side, because the track record of the Tamil Tigers is very clear, always using civilians as human shield when they come under severe attack. Now even in Canada you can see taking so much of children to Gardiner Expressway and holding them, allowing them to be there till midnight. If the police react in order to clear the highway, definitely the children's life and their it's under real threat.
I understand. Mr. Selliah, can you help me for a second here? You know, when the media, and I'm afraid I did the same thing this morning, refers to the Tamil community,
yeah,
monolithically and singularly as if it spoke with one voice, then we are not, of course, revealing whom we're not hearing from. You're suggesting now you're speaking, I don't know if you're speaking for a silent majority, but how do I know that you're any more representative of the community's opinion than the people who showed up on the Gardiner on Sunday night?
We can say now, I am a person from Tamil community, and I know hundreds and thousands of Tamil people who don't want to go to this protest, and they just think the silent is most eloquent at this point, because my relatives, my friends, and there are other organizations who represent the Tamil community.
Are they being silenced in any way? Do you feel that they're being in some way suppressed?
Not suppressed. They think this has to come to an end. Sometimes they do not accept what the Sri Lankan government is doing, but they don't want to support the Tamil Tigers themselves, because they see that the genuine struggle, the genuine grievances of the Tamil people are being destroyed, and the whole struggle was abducted by the Tigers at the gunpoint. An entire democratic voice in the Tamil society was eliminated. So the Tamil society has come to this status because of the terror tactics what the Tamil Tigers have been using for the last 35 years.
And finally, do you have any sense of who Ottawa is listening to? Do you think that people on the highway at the protests have the government's voice, or is the government also, do you believe, hearing from people like you?
I think the government is hearing from people like us also. That is why at one point the Canadian government decided to proscribe the Tamil Tigers, because about 3-4 years before, the Tamils who were in Canada were so scared to talk about it. I was in Canada for the last 4 years. I was unable to come out because I was interviewed by you several times and in a different name. So the Canadian government is listening to the silent majority also. So the one thing is, the police always say today, we don't know who the organizers are. So it is not very difficult to identify the culprits who are behind pushing these people to the road. If you listen to the Tamil radios, which totally manipulated by the Tamil Tiger arms in Toronto, they ask the people to. Even today, from yesterday evening, these Tamil radios were provoking the people, whipping up emotion, asking the children to, asking the families to bring their children to the protest, bring the warm clothes, bring food, bring water.
But why wouldn't they leave their Tamil Tiger flags behind? If this is the case, it seems to me that people who you argue are doing the manipulating, it would be in their interest to see to it that no one brought the Tiger flags, and therefore that would give them credibility, in terms of raising public support.
Exactly. Now, that is why you should identify this Tigerism, Tiger politics, like fascism or Nazism. They don't want to lose the grip within the Tamil society. That is also, they are very careful. They don't want independent Tamil voices to come up. If they allow the ordinary Tamils to put out their own slogans, definitely the people will come out with the slogan, Tigers, please release the civilians.
Right.
So the Tigers do not want that to happen. So they keep their presence even every point, bunch of people with the flags and the megaphones. So when the media comes, media capture the slogans, those 3 key slogans: Prabhakaran, our leader; LTT, freedom fighters; Canada, lift the ban.
Mr. Selliah, I'm glad that this slice of the media was able to hear your voice this morning. Thank you for contributing to the discussion.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much for having me.